Today we're going to wrap up the models chapter. By now you've seen how to publish a Revit model, navigate the model management menu, use the Revit add-in, and sync parameter data in the last few videos. If you followed along through those videos already and have a model connected to a layer project, that's great. That works and qualifies for this chapter of the certification. Just go ahead and submit the URL of your project using the link at the bottom of this guide. If you didn't follow along, or if you want a clean project to submit, keep watching. The point of this assignment is to demonstrate that you can connect a model to a layer project, work inside the model management menu, and use the sync tools. If you've been following along this entire time with your Starter 2 project from Chapter 2, great, that works fine. For tutorial's sake, I'm going to start fresh. So those who want to follow along, go ahead and create project and go find the Maker Course Starter 2 template again. Name it whatever you like. In this case, we'll name it 5 model, apply it for the chapter naming convention for the tutorial series. Just give it whatever location you want. In this case, just tutorial. Create from template. Boom, template applied. Now your screen should look similar to this. For the layer project, your name be named up here. Go ahead and attach the model for the next step. You can either manually upload a .rvt Revit file to layer for processing, or you can connect it directly from an open Revit project. If you want a clean start, download the exact same Revit file that you did in Chapter 2. I'll relink it to the bottom of the screen, scroll down. Once the download completes, go ahead and open it. Maker Course 2 Starter Project. Once the project's open, head to the Layer tab. If you haven't used Layer in Revit in a while, you may need to log in again. Once logged in, go ahead and publish your model, and you'll see that things are publishing to Layer. Once that's complete, head back to Layer. To your upload model icon, either upload the RBT manually, or in this case, we're going to connect directly from Revit. Published just a bit ago. We're going to select this one. There's not going to be an existing model because this is a new first time model publish sync. So create a new model, categories will begin to show up. Look at that, models are ready to use, and our model categories have populated. Just one very quick note, of course, if you prefer, you can do all of this workflow from within Revit via the side panel that you can open up with Open Dashboard from the plugin. Task 1 done right there, publishing a Revit model to layer. Let's head to task 2, head over to your model section, details, with your model category settings. And for task 2, we want you to add a model category that is not already visible in layer. One model category that firms commonly find they use within Revit is the generic models. There'll be models that are commonly modeled outside of Revit and then brought into the Revit environment. Alternatively, you can use this add models category to jump directly to your properties. Task 3, explore your model versions. Inside the same model details menu, open this versions tab. Confirm your published versions are listed here. If you republished after adding a category, you should see at least 2 versions listed here. So far, we've just published once. Task 4, we're going to send data from the add-in within Revit. So if you haven't already, pull your screen back up to Revit, initiate the plugin so that you've got your window over here and you are in your project. Take a look at this particular instance here in this group. So dive into the group, select this, and we are looking at the M table dining round with chairs. Notice that in the parameter identity data mark for this piece of furniture, it is TA3. So to make sure that we're tracking in layer, go up to the filter and type where your parameter marked for objects porting from Revit to the furniture category is TA-3. Now, the only items populating in this view within layer are objects that have or match that mark. The object for this final task is to see how we can change a parameter within Revit or data within Revit and push those changes or sync them back to Revit. That said, dive back into this group and let's change this mark to something very identifiable. Let's say task-4-mark, enter. Finish, and now that's what we will go filter to verify once we've pushed the sync. Since this was just a parameter change, and that is just data, instead of publishing or republishing the entire model along with all this 3D geometry, we can go to send data. Select the categories that contain the data that we changed that we want to push to layer. This helps us narrow down the amount of data that we sync at any one given time, or it helps control data that you want to be sure is complete before pushing to layer. Let's just select the furniture category because this is the type of Revit model by category that we are pushing to layer. The data has been confirmed, uploaded successfully to layer. Click OK to continue. You may be met with this publish model screen. If you are, just exit because your model is already connected. Last published 8 minutes ago. Now, in order to confirm this, let's go back to the furniture section and let's filter this view once again to where more. is task 4 mark. And that confirms that this data of mark that changed on this specific table is now task 4 mark. So we've successfully pushed the data only from Revit to layer. That completes this with task 4 wrapped up. Please copy and paste your layer URL into the submission link or comments below. Also include the name of the mark that you decided on so that we can go into the furniture category and filter by this mark to ensure that you completed successfully.